month of this, so it means, unfortunately, this month we'll have to put up with it. But let's see. Let's see. Hope everyone's well today. One of my lights decided to blow out, and I couldn't get it back to working, so that was not fun. That was a bit annoying. Right before everyone else was supposed to go live. So I don't know if it'll work again, or if it's just completely gone now. We'll find out. You are completely gone. God dang it. Yeah, I want my lights just gone. Oh well, we have enough lights. New light will be future Agnes's problem, which we will figure out. So, as per request, I believe today we are going to be drawing Squirrel Girl. Which actually came up several times now in the past few weeks. So we're going to draw Squirrel Girl, which is very appropriate for today's doggo events that took place. Just promote this and then we'll be good to go. Everything's so slow. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right, perfect. Perfect. Let me close a few things. Less things open. Oh, hello. Ah. Hello, Josephine's grandma. Josephine is amazing. Art's being created is so amazing from everyone. Sorry, I was taking off my sweater. Yeah, it's a bit pixelated. It's definitely the new streaming. I'll go back to the other one next month because since they're both paid services. I'll try to draw a little bit darker to see if that will help out. So when you guys are ready, grab your pencil, eraser, and marker if you have it. If you don't, any dark colored and light colored pencil, crayon, marker, anything, but we're going to start with the light ones. So whatever you're grabbing, start with your lighter tool. I'm going to start with my pencil. I'm just going to move my palette out of the way for now. So we're going to do a more dynamic pose today. I know. I think you guys can do it because we've been drawing a lot more static poses, getting used to posing characters. So today we're going to go a bit more dynamic. I think you guys are ready. I believe in you guys. I am all right. Finger's still healing. Got a new wrap for it where, see how this one works. It's going to take a while, guys. I really did a number on it. But alrighties. So we're going to start with our favorite shape, the circle for the head. So remember, you got to leave room for the head and leave room for the body. So if you're using your paper, so I am going to start my favorite shape, the circle. Right, nice circle. And then a line across, because that's going to be our point for setting the eyes. Ooh, just go home from a walk. Walk is good. We all need exercise. And then we're going to have her looking to the side. So we're going to draw that line slightly curved going to the side. So this is our starting point for the face that we're going to be working with today. And I'm just going to lay out the rough body so you guys have an idea for the dynamic pose that we are working with today. So you have to find the center of the head, which would be at the bottom right here. You could do a little cylinder for the neck. So I'm going to angle her shoulders a bit so it's on a slight slant, and then her pelvis, her bottom will be right about here. So you can see if you're comparing size-wise, the body is about 2 fingers where the head is almost 4 fingers. So it's a cute little body. We're drawing a very cute shape today. So her body shape is going to be slightly curved. So if the head went this way, we're going to continue this almost like an animation. We're going to continue this line, but we're going to curve it back out this way. So you guys can see that her body is going to be shifting weight. And I'm going to draw a little slightly rounded rectangle for her body. So we're gonna be, dude, I don't know how people don't believe in stuff. We so easily forget things. It's really incredible. I don't know if it's our society or our time, but how quickly we forget things is incredible to me. Guys, stuff is reopening, but you're right. The virus is still here. We still have to be cautious and take care of each other as a community. I guess that's what I don't understand. I don't understand how people don't view their neighborhood, their society as one giant community. So we all take care of each other. Can't do it by ourselves, I can tell you that. Alrighties. So now we're going to be drawing her with her fists up in the air and then her legs going 2 different directions, kind of leaping like a little squirrel. So I'm going to do basically the top of her arm. I'm doing a cylinder right here for the forearm. And then the other arm, if this one's going up because I angled the shoulders, this one's going to go a little bit lower. So these are the forearms. And if you want to think of it as joints, the elbow joint will be a little circle. So remember, guys, this is just to guide us along the way. We're going to be erasing most of this afterwards, but it's just to help us figure out how the body moves. So this arm I want up, so I'm going to draw a little cylinder going upwards. So we're drawing cute characters. The proportions tend to be shorter, more compressed, very cute. And this one I'm going to draw slightly to the side, little cylinder. And then I'm going to draw a circle for the hand and a little cylinder for the fist. I'm going to do the same thing here. Draw a circle for the hand, a little cylinder for the fist, and we're going to figure that out afterwards. We're just right now, I don't know how it's optional, guys. The whole mask not being optional, like, think about it this way. Like, I don't understand. Like, workers and doctors have to wear masks for hours at a time. All we're asking is people to wear a mask for, like, what, 20 minutes to an hour? You know what? If they say it might work, might not, I'm going to go with the, hey, if it might help, go for it. Sorry, guys. I'm very positive. I'm very community forward kind of person. It's how we're raising Canada. We're very much about community. And I like meeting common people like you guys who listen to me. You guys seem very community oriented. Alrighty, so now we're going to go for the legs. The legs are going to be a little thicker than the arms. So I'm going to draw one leg going this way and one leg going up this way. So if I draw the outside of the legs, this one is going to lean back in. So it's almost going to be like a slightly rounded V shape. And this one's going to be going out. So it's going to be a very wide V shape. So she's going to be leaping, fun, very organic pose. And we can figure out the leg sockets. So then we draw a cylinder for the top of the leg right here. Another cylinder. If you guys want to draw the little kneecap, draw yourselves a little circle to remind yourself where the knee is. This leg is going to be bending back behind. So if we're thinking about it layered, it's going to go behind this leg. So if you put yourself in this leaping position, please don't leap off of anything. I ask you, please, no leaping. Alrighty. So it'll be tucked behind. I'll show you guys when we get to the inking and tightening everything up. And then this one's going to go more forward. So we're going to draw ourselves a cylinder. Squirrel Girl is a Marvel character. She is witty and cute, and she has a great connection with squirrels. She's a squirrel superhero. That's exactly who she is. Squirrely-like powers, like leaping. I actually don't know that much about Squirrel Girl, except she's great design. Oh, sorry, I should tell you guys what I'm doing instead of blabbing about Squirrel Girl. So this will be the leg, so you could draw a cylinder. Draw yourselves a cylinder for this leg and cut it almost in half because this will be the bottom of her shoe, right there. And Squirrel Girl will have a giant tail. So I'm going to imagine the tail right here. I'm going to have really a lot of fun with her big tail. So I'm going to have it start out here, and like a squirrel, I'm going to curl it back in and create a little spiral. And then I'm going to make her tail peeking out here too. Like nice big squirrel tail. So that's the basic shape for our figure today. There you go. She was a super babysitter in Avengers Tower, if they remember correctly. And because this is streaming across multiple streams, I will let you guys know of any important or awesome comments. Yes, that is correct. Someone wrote, protecting yourself in this instance is also protecting others. I completely agree. All right, so now let's go for her eyes. So we're going to draw a wider circle here for one eye and a more narrow circle here. It's more of a cylinder shape for the other eye. The reason why, guys, remember perspective. This side's in front, this side's to the side. So of course we're not going to see it as clearly. We're going to give her a cute little button nose, and we're going to give her a nice big smile. So the big smile, remember, is that little slight cylinder shape. And then we're going to round it around. This one's going to be more rounder here. It's going to be a little more narrowed. Just a little cap right here. You can see there's a little pointed shape there. And since she's Squirrel Girl, let's give her little squirrely teeth. Give her a big buck teeth. I think it's very appropriate. And a little tongue. Very, very happy Squirrel Girl. Oh, Squirrel Girl has a sidekick named Monkey Joe. Actually did not know that. I'll tell you guys when I'm making my squirrel adventures today with my doggo. It's pretty fun. All right, so now we're going to start adding some eyelashes. So we're going to go on the top of the cylinder. And we're going to curve it back out. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Darken the top of the cylinder and then add a little whoosh, curve out at the end. Again, thicken this up a bit. And then the bottom of the eye. Darken that up. And then create a circle for the inside of her eye. And we're going to follow, this is, remember guys, we're thinking perspective. So this is going to be a cylinder. Very cute pose today. And we're going to add the little cylinder inside for the reflection. Remember, reflections are always on the same side of the eye. And then the little black circle inside your eye for the pupil. And this one, of course, is not going to be a circle. It's going to be more of an oval shape because of perspective. No, Otis was not. Olive, my other dog, actually has a squirrel obsession. She really wants to play with them. Not even kill them or hunt them. She just wants to be friends with the squirrels. She just wants to chase them and play with them, but they don't understand. So now we're adding the eyebrows. Give it thick eyebrows. Remember, eyebrows follow very closely the shape of the eye. And then we're going to go to the side of the head. So here's her forehead. It's going to curve in where her eye is. So it's going to go out and then in. And then it's going to curve back out for her cheeks. And it's going to go around to where her chin is. Then curve back following the shape of the circle. And then she has a little ear. It's going to be hidden right here behind the hand. But you could add a little ear. Little hint of an ear. And we're going to give her cute bangs. So I'm going to go out on the over here, create that little cylinder shape. And I'm going to give her a little curl right here. And now the other way, this is the part in her bangs I want. So I'm just going to make the bangs going to the side, to cylinder shapes. Create another little half cylinder shape, create a little point there. And a little cylinder shape. And it's going to go past her head. Because remember, your hair always poofs past your head. So I'm going to add almost like a half circle shape that ends just, if her eyelash ends here, I'm going to end it just above her eyelash. Cute poofy hair. So Squirrel Girl wears a little headband. So I'm actually going to follow just a little above the shape of the head. Just a little behind that bang. I'm going to thicken this up, make it slightly thicker shape. So this is going to be the hairband. And it's going to tuck behind the ear. And to create little squirrel ears, the way I'm going to do that is they're going to be attached to the hairband. So this one's going to be right here. And remember, guys, we're thinking perspective. So if this is right here, if you look at the distance, that means the other ear is going to be tucked right back here because we're thinking perspective, we're thinking distance. And I'm going to go out almost like curving slightly inwards. I'm going to curve back out. And then I'm going to curve it all the way back in. So it's kind of like a bean shape we're creating here. And we're going to create a slightly slightly thinner bean shape right here. And this will be the above the ear and inside the ear. So we're going to create a line right here that curves and connects here. So this is the inside part of the ear, and this is the part of the ear that's on top. So it's going to be two colors. And now since this is in perspective, that means the top of the ear is going to be more prominent on this side. So we see more of the back of the ear. Oh, there's two sidekicks. The other was named Tippy Toe. Oh my god, that's so cute. Olive and Otis actually met possums when I lived in Florida for a bit. We went possum hunting at night. Possums are actually pretty chill, but we never got too close. And now we're going to draw the rest of her hair. We're going to give her a nice poofy haired look. So we're going to go, this is the top of her head, her hair. And then we could add a few layers and give her a nice poofy haired look. If you want to show a bit of the hair over here, you can just show a tiny bit of the hair right there. So now let's start working on the rest of her body and her outfit. So we have been working on fists. So we're going to do a very simple fist today. So this will be basically the bottom of the hand, top of the hand. And remember guys, we do that little spiral shape. Little spiral for the finger. So if you guys can see that little spiral to create that finger, this is this part. And this part right here is this part. The little spiral, and then we add another finger and another and another. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers and a little thumb. And then we could darken up the arm to show how that works. So we could do the same thing on this side. So this will be the forearm. This will be the little notch for here. This will be the other notch. And then we're going to do our little spiral for the finger. Little spiral. Then 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to make this one poking out a bit more. There we go. And curve it back. And then a little oval for our thumb, and we can connect everything together. Oh, someone asked me on Twitch, do you use the same techniques for drawing dynamic poses in published work, or is there a different way to approach with sketches? Actually, no, I do it pretty much the same way. Everything starts off with a layer, and then I compose everything as separate shapes, always thinking about, let's borrow my little doll here, always thinking about anatomy and always trying to think of how the body connects. This is very important. And if you're having trouble posing characters, go in front of the mirror and pose yourself in the pose that you want your character to be in. And when you do that, you can see all the joints and how they connect. The reason I work with a lot of spirals is because I want to make sure every single thing is a joint that connects to the other one. So I always think of everything the exact same way. Dum, da, da, da. All right, so let's draw her little neck. And she has a jacket. So her jacket, since she's flying, we're going to make it flaring out a little bit to the side, like this, and then a little bit out to the side like this. It's a short jacket. It's a little crop jacket. So we're just going to make it swaying to the side. And if you curve it right here, you could actually add the bottom part of the jacket, which ends a little bit more in. So it's almost like a little short bomber jacket. And she has a little collar. It's a big poofy collar. So this will be the shape for her collar right here. And we're just going to add a little notch for the little collar detail. And she wears a bodysuit. So this will be the top of her bodysuit. It's almost like a little heart-shaped shape. And we could go darken up the lines for her arms. And right where her hand bends, there is basically her sleeves are rolled up. So to do that, we are going to draw a little half circle shape on both arms. And we're going to draw a little half circle shape. And here it's going to be more narrow, and here it's going to be more wider. And we're going to connect the two together. So it looks like a rolled up jacket. And that's a good little tip to do a simple rolled up jacket. a little bit behind. And where it bends, do 2 little rolls. And where it's her elbow, it's a further part right here. There's less bend. Draw a little more wider. And back here, we could draw the bottom of her hair because she has short hair. You can see a little bit more of her hair that way. And she wears a little pouch belt. So since she's jumping, we're going to make the pouch belt start here and go right here. And then right at the end here, we're going to do a very rounded cylinder shape for one pouch. This pouch will be almost behind her leg because of the perspective that she's leaping and this leg is up. And if you want to add a pouch detail in that little round cylinder, do a little line almost in the middle but closer to the side and then cap it off and then draw a little line at the bottom. So now it looks like a cute little pouch. So apparently, I did not know I didn't do that on purpose. Apparently, I am tagged under talk shows and podcasts. Was the art tag not working out? Or did you find a Twitch secret for artists for more views? No, I have no idea how that happened, but cool. I guess I'm a talk show. Is it because of all my talking and gibberish? I think it's because of my talking and gibberish. What? Squirrel Girl has apparently defeated Thanos, Galactus, and Doctor Doom. Man, squirrels are so awesome. Go, Squirrel Girl. Alrighties, let's resume. Miss Talk Show host. Sorry, it's really cute and funny. So where we created the leg joints, we could actually make it part of her bodysuit. So now it looks like she's wearing like a swimsuit bodysuit, but right here she has little fluffy part on her suit, little fur. So remember how we did when we did animals, we added like little nooks? We're gonna do the same thing, little nooks. And then top of her leg, bottom of her leg, and this is where we remember about the layering. So this is the top of her leg and where her knee, and then right here, she actually has a fluffy part on her boot. So remember, it's layered behind, so we have to pretend it's going behind, and we can add the little fluffy bits on her boot. And if we go over to this side, I know we didn't finish that leg, but just to show you how it's now going to look on this side, because here we see the top of the leg, and we could see the little fluffy part on her boot. So you could see here, it's more hidden behind because we are gapping with Aggie. That's what we should call it from now on. Nice. I like that. Little gibberish talk with Aggie. All right, and now you could do the back of and the other parts of the leg. And since this is in perspective, this part of the leg is hidden slightly still behind there. So she's leaping, she's having fun. And this one is going to be quite forward because this leg is going towards us. Remember, guys, this is the bottom of the leg. Very dynamic pose today. And the swoosh of her tail. If you guys want to add those little nooks to show that it's quite furry, my little furry nooks, you could do that. Make the tail all fluffy. And turn it. And I think that is our pencil drawing. So now we can get to the inking part. Woohoo! Inking part! We're going to go back to my purple. Guys, I brought out, oh, there's my new tissue. I still keep going to this old one, which I keep forgetting to throw out. I got a brand new one and everything. Alrighties then. So grab whatever you want to use to ink. Your choices, your pencil, crayon, pencils, whatever you want. This is totally up to you. Sorry, guys, I'm way too high in that camera. So I'm going to pick my purple because purple looks really good with browns. Right, Olive? Right. She's just sniffing the air behind me. Let me get this going. Making sure it's running and not running too fast because sometimes it does not behave. So now, guys, remember, when we ink, we only pick the lines we want to keep, and we completely ignore any lines we don't want to keep. So I'm going to start with the hair right here. And curve upwards where the hairband goes. So you can see, only picking the lines we want to keep, completely ignoring any lines we don't want to keep. I'm going to go down to her chin. So yeah, Olive got to play with some squirrels today. Well, technically she did, but she did have a very close eye contact with one that happened to jump off a tree and realized Olive was right there. Someone asked, is it difficult keeping in mind all those little details and bangles, like the details on the boots? Yes and no. It definitely is something you have to always remember, and it definitely is a little more difficult than just drawing it straight up. But once you do it enough times, it does become a lot more simpler, because then you're just thinking about patterns more so than how it works, because you start gaining that understanding. So once you understand how it works, it becomes a lot less difficult. But it'll always be more difficult trying to draw something in perspective than it is trying to draw it outside of perspective, to answer that question. Yeah, I don't see a lot of squirrels in my neighborhood, but for today, there's like all these they look like they're pretty young squirrels. And they're all playing up in the trees, and of course, Olive heard it, and she wanted to join in, but she couldn't, because she's a dog, and she's not a squirrel. So we just hung around to see if any come near the ground for Olive to say a little bit of a hi to. She just really just stares at them. It's very interesting. She doesn't know what to do with them. She's like, can you play with me? Why aren't you playing with me? So now we're outlining the top of the eyes. Yeah. Today was actually the first day in a long time that Olive really got to say hi to a whole bunch of squirrels. Squirrel Girl felt very, very appropriate for today's drawing. And then her eyebrow, sticking that up. I like drawing slightly thicker eyebrows when possible because they do look quite cute. Darken up the purple. Other eyebrows hiding behind the hair. Darken that up too. Sorry guys, I gotta turn this so I get the right angle. Don't be afraid to turn the paper to get the angle that you need, because sometimes our hands are programmed and we've trained them to only work certain ways. So when we want it to do something specific, sometimes it just doesn't want to do that for us. In the bottom of her eye, I'm gonna draw this one in since her eye is fold there. You're asking, you sure would like to capture one of those naughty chipmunks in your yard? Aww. Cute. Yeah, Olive just wants to play with them. She's come pretty, like today she actually came very close to the squirrel. It really was like a stare down where she was awfully close. But I always keep a distance just in case, because I don't think squirrels attack, but who knows? Don't want to risk it. Got the rabies shots and everything, but you know what? Can only get so close. All right. Trying to make sure to keep everything the way we want it to look. She can sometimes be tricky. I'm just going to give her 2 little eyelashes here. I think it'll look cute. There we go. Little button nose, because I like my button nose. Oh no, this girl started throwing a piece of a tree and acorns. That is insane. Yeah, they asked for it at that point, didn't they? To be chased. Maybe they secretly want to be chased. They're bored, needed an adventure. Little cute buck teeth. Smile. Sorry guys, I just need to turn this to get to this little spiral right here that I drew with you guys. Because my hand will not work the other way. 2, 3, and 4. And the thumb. So now I could also see where I want the ear. Side of the hand, arm, and all. Bottom of the ear or hair. So if you guys have trouble with layering, I did mention this at a previous lesson too. Start with what goes at the very top and then work on the lower layers underneath, especially if you're trying to remember what goes above what. There's a really good tip. Start with what you know sits on top and then work your way to what sits underneath. And then remember guys, we created this little notch here for her jacket detail. So remember to draw in the little notch. And if you forget, don't worry. It's totally fine. No biggie. And then the outside of the jacket. Happy leaping squirrel girl. Yep, the squirrels lured you into a trap so they could tease you and play with you. Do you approach fur the same way you would draw hair? Actually, a lot of the time, yes. Especially if it is short hair. As you can tell, it's drawn very similar way to the way I draw fur. Longer hair involves a slightly different technique, and with anything, you always have to think of what it looks like, whatever it's sitting on. Like with longer hair, you have to remember longer hair sits and interacts with the body more. Shorter hair sits on an object and it basically is the basic shape, but a poofier version of whatever that object is. So you always, when drawing anything, you just always have to remember the object underneath it, the shape of it, if that makes sense. Getting slightly better at explaining things. Before I was like, I always draw, and it's very, because I understand the techniques, I understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So now it's me just training myself how to explain to you guys so you guys can do it too and hopefully learn. Bloop, 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 bloop. Not sure. And I realized the tail should go right here. And even now, guys, I'm still learning. And that's the big thing about art is you always want to keep learning. You never want to get to a point where there's nothing new you can learn. Even as a professional artist, I love being able to learn new things. I love being able to learn new things from other artists and studying their techniques. So I actually love watching other creators draw as well because it's interesting because then I'm like, oh, that's how they did that. Oh, I should definitely try that. Always learning. So I'm giving this just a second to grab some coffee, make sure everything is dry. If you're using a wet medium, want to make sure it's dry, reflect it in the light and see if it reflects light. And if it doesn't reflect light, it's dry. And when you erase, remember guys, always hold down your paper and erase gently. And it does help with little circular motions. Very gentle. You don't want to erase very hard because you might ruin the paper. So very gently. I prefer little circular motions. And then once you're done, use your own eraser. And you could actually use your eraser to pick up all the little bits that were left over from your eraser. So your eraser has a tackiness to it, so you could use it to pick up little bits and then swipe away every other little bit that you don't require. Yeah, like my stream with Peach later. That's more about just going on drawing autopilot where I answer mainly questions, we chit chat. It's more of a chilled stream, but it's nice to have the different streams. And I like doing the educational one because I know a lot of kids are getting into art, and it does help having things explained. Someone asks, how many styles can you draw? Can you do really sketchy, draw shadowings? Yeah, that is more of technique, and it's just picking up and studying different techniques. I draw more clean lines only because I've worked in, sorry guys, let me move this closer. So now I worked on a lot of licensed properties, so doing the clean, sharp lines is just something that I've done for a really long time. So guys, I'm going to mix up my little peach color here. I'm letting it get a little bit, I'm just adding a little bit of an orange to it because sometimes the peach is a little peach too for me. Camera, let's move it here so you guys can see a little bit more of my palette. There we go. Shift it over so you guys can see a bit more of my palette. My camera decided to just keep falling down today. Didn't want to stay up as high as it usually stays, so I do apologize. So I'm going to start with this where I want the darker areas. A tiny bit more water. And I don't know if you guys will be able to observe, but the paper I used last week was something called cold press, and it has more of a groove to it, and it has a bumpiness to it. The paper I'm using today is called a hot press. Hot press tends to be a lot smoother paper, and it's more of like when you're inking and you see a lot of comic art, just black and white, that's more of a smooth paper. Well, watercolor comes in smooth and rough, and it comes in different textures. So how some of the, you guys can compare if you like after this, like pull up the drawing I post online and when I finally post this one, but pull up and see if you could tell the difference in how the watercolor sits on it and how the shadows look, because there is a slight difference when you use hot press and cold press paper. So there's something for you guys to also, if you're at home and you want to experiment between the two, and if you're getting into watercolors, and you could see which one you like more, because some people do prefer the cold press and some people do prefer the hot press. And the reason why it looks different is because of how the colors sit on the paper. When you use cold press paper, the watercolor sinks into the grooves, but with hot press being smooth, you will notice that the watercolor does not sink into the grooves as much. And I find cold press, the color seems a little bit more brighter to me in general. And that is because of how it sits on the paper itself. So there's a little watercolor lesson for you guys looking to get into watercolor and the different types of paper out there. Someone, thank you. I take that as a compliment. Someone mentioned I'm extremely good at explaining and showing at the same time. It's a skill on its own, and it's actually something I had to train myself to do. It was not something that came naturally to me, just to let you guys know. Something I had to practice. So I'm going to be mixing up. I do have an orange. It's actually right here, and it's hidden because my palette broke. Guys, I really should replace this. Like, I really should. It's even underneath it. Stuck. It's a mess out under there. Alrighties, but I'm mixing a bit more red into my orange because I find my orange is quite light. And Squirrel Girl does have orange hair, but it's a little bit of a darker orange to me. So I'm just mixing a little bit of red into it. Yeah, like, why wouldn't you mix brown? I'm worried if I mix brown, it'll just become a little too more of a brownish red. So this is just a preference to get the shade of orange. And with everything with color theory, it's all trial and error, and you have to get used to your supplies. So when you get like a new palette or new pencil crayons, just grab all the colors and test what they'll look like, and then test mixing them together. It's all experimental. And that's how I got used to my palette, is I experimented. Oh yeah, this is not her ear. That's her hair. Whoops, my bad. There we go. Luckily, when you go from lighter to darker, it's very easy to correct mistakes. Yeah, you guys should really, really not learn from the example of my palette. Please clean your palettes, guys, especially if you're getting into art and you don't understand how colors mix together. Always, always clean your palette after use. Always clean your brushes after use. That's something I'd still do. Always clean your brushes. Very gently, because you don't want to ruin them. Just darkening it up because it's drying a little lighter than I would like. Yeah, my messy palette is just from experience that I know when the colors mix together. But please, clean your palettes. Don't learn from me. When it comes to organization, I am definitely not a person you want to learn from. Lack of organization. Look at our eyes. Are our eyes green or brown? I think they're brown. I think they're brown. We're just going to go with brown. Really look a little green. But in the animation I see here of her, they're brown. So we're just going to go brown. Ah! Click too far. Let's just go brown. You see a little reddish brown. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, they're definitely not machine washer friendly. Please don't put them in the machine. Any dishwasher, clothes washer, don't put them in anything. They will not like it. Brushes are very delicate. That's why you have to take care of them. The better you take care of your brushes, the more gentle you are with them, the longer they're going to last. So I'm going to give her brown eyes. I've decided. We're going brown. Da, da, da. Just notice the time, guys. I'm going to speed up a little bit. And it's brown right here. Brown hairband. And a bit more brown. If you notice, my brown is a bit more on the reddish tints. It's just because I add a little more red into my brown, just because I do like the warmness of the browns when there's a little bit more red in them. That's just a preference for myself. Her jacket is also brown. And I'm going to leave a little bit of a white there just to show her jacket's just reflecting light quite brightly there. Da, 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 da. This is also brown. Dum, da, dum, da, dum. And that little color notch there. Anything else brown? Her boots are brown. And her tail's brown, but we're going to make her tail a little bit lighter brown. So I'm going to do a little bit less of a red brown for her tail. Little reflection. Do the same thing on this side. Bottom of her shoe. Just add a little bit of a reflection there. Mix up a little more brown. Darken that up, darken that up, darken that up underneath. Oh, neat. Very cool. I don't think I'll be dearly yet, because the moment I have to join one of those, I can't multi-stream. So I enjoy the multi-stream aspect of it. So I might not. So I'm mixing a lighter brown now. If you'll notice right away, there's a difference in the browns. You'll notice it when I put it on the paper, because this right here is a lighter brown. So you can see right away there's a difference in my browns. This right here, I'm adding the little reflection too. Keep that in mind. And then her tail, I'm going to make it the lighter brown as well. What else is that lighter brown? Ah, here, lost my reference. Lighter brown right there for the back of her tail. I'm gonna go lighter as I go up. Guys, I always like to start with the darker, add more pigment. Which pigment? Do you guys remember what pigment is? It's the color on your brush. It's the paint. You use pigment to paint with. Alrighty, so now I'm going to mix up a little bit of red because there has to be a little red in her mouth. So right now I'm just going to make it the same shade, but afterwards I am going to go back and I'm going to darken the back there. But right now, same shade is a-okay with me. And she has a cream color. So I'm going to mix up this kind of sand-like color I have. And if you don't have a sand-like color, mix yellow with just a tiny bit of purple. And it'll help create a little bit of a sandier color. So this part right here is that little sandy color. This right here is the sandy color. I'm going to leave a gap, of course, for the little light reflection, which you guys know I like to do. And then this right here is the sandy color. This is the sandy color. This is the standard color. This is the sandy color. This, I'm going to make it a little more orange. So sandy color, but a bit of orange. Oh, and then right here at the bottom here, it's also the sandy color. You're so kind. Don't report me for things. I'm a good person. So now the pants are a bit more of a gray brown. So you guys remember how I always mix my gray on the side here, my black. I'm just mixing it with a bit of the brown. This is why I know my palette very well, guys. And now I created this color that I need, the gray brown for her tights. Woohoo! And also I'm going to add a little bit of a light pink, which is just a darker pink, which I'm using more water and I'm creating a lighter pink for the inside of her ears. So this is just a darker pink I watered down, and a little red down here, fade it out. So now I can add some of her shading. So for her skin, I'm going to add a little pink to my purple for the skin color, darker shading. So we're always going to follow, remember where everything lies. So the hair is always going to cast a bit of a shadow, and I want the light source coming from this direction. So this part of her is going to be more in shadow. So remember, guys, always establish your light source. It's very important to have a light source when you start painting. And if it gets too purple, you just water it down. There we go. That was too dark. Just watered it down a bit. See that a little darker. So under her, we always have a shadow under our eyebrows. Follows the shape of the hair. So the hair will cast a shadow onto the face. The bottom of her nose will have a little bit of a shadow, and under her neck right here, there's definitely going to be a little shadow. Then the outside of her arm is going to have a shadow where the jacket sits on the arm, definitely right here, because it is going to cast a little bit of shadow. And then you could cast a little bit of a shadow just at the edge of your fingers and your thumb. And same thing, if the light's coming from above, below her arm's going to have a shadow where it meets right here, a little below her thumb, just a little bit at the edges of her fingers, and right here. If you can draw a team book with anyone in Marvel for Squirrel Girl, who would you like to see? Ooh, that's a good question. Jubilee might be fun. I would like to see her and Jubilee interact. I think that would be really cute. I think Storm as maybe like a mentor to them. I think that might be adorable. I know I'm going like old school X-Men. Maybe Jinx. I haven't seen Jinx anything for a while. Just adding all the shadows, guys. I'm going to go into my brown. Just add a little bit of my gray. Mix a bit of the red. Just add the darker shade of the brown right here. Remember, guys, always thinking shadow. Always thinking shadow. Down here. This definitely casts a shadow right there. There we go. Bottom of the arm where it bends. And just a little bit on the edge here. Because remember, it's round. So you'll have a shadow on both sides, as you can see on my arm. More of a shadow on this side, a little less on this side, but there's still a bit of a shadow on both sides. And then right here, her jacket and will cast a shadow. Jacket will definitely cast a shadow. And then underneath her belt, definitely be casting some shadows. Her pouch side of it will definitely have a little cast shadow. This back here will definitely have some shadow. Oh my God, my dog's about to snore really loud. Otis. If you hear it, I apologize. That's my dog. Her face will definitely be casting a shadow right here. Who else? Spider, not Spider, Gwenpool might be really fun. That might be a little hilarious thing. The new Miss Marvel, I don't know much about her, but I like her. I think she's a really cool character. Those are some, like a younger, fun team. I know, and this is all female characters, but there's a lot of fun female characters. So remember, guys, it's a rounded shape, so I'm just casting my shadows. There's definitely going to be more of a shadow on the bottom of the boot because a lot of it is hidden behind. So we're keeping this in mind. And also here. So this one, since it is behind, majority of this boot is hidden in shadow. My dream team and My Little Pony. Pinkie Pie with Trixie. I like those two a lot. And then cast a shadow, bottom of the shoe. It's definitely going to be in shadow, so we want to darken that up nicely. And then as I mentioned before, mixing a little purple, this part right here is going to be darker. Even though I originally started with red, I always knew I was going to be going back and darkening the inside of the mouth. And then I'm just going to darken a little bit on the tongue, just a tiny bit, fade it out. And since she has big buck teeth, I'm just going to add a little blue shadow on right here to show that her big buck teeth also have a little shadow cast to them. And her big, big tail needs a bit of a shadow, doesn't it? This part right here is definitely going to be in shadow. I'm going to round this part around, darkening it up. So add that depth to it. Most of this is going to be a little darker because it's definitely casting more shadows right here. Trying to round it out and add a little bit darker right here just because her body might be casting a little bit of a shadow back here. Darken that up. Now I can add a bit of blue for the sky since she is leaping, make her leaping up in the sky. So I'm mixing up some nice blue. And I'm going to make it quite wet. So I'm going down, putting down my water first. Adding a bit more paint. Making it almost like a very loose colored background. Don't want to over wet it, just enough paint that it will sit and help the color bleed around. And then right here, add a bit more water to fade it out. Now Otis is making his bed behind me. So many fun characters that you could definitely make with animals. Squirrel Girl should have Chipmunk Girl as her sidekick friend. So it's a little squirrel and a little chipmunk working together. And should be like a little like cute chipmunk. I don't know why, but that sounds like it would be fun. I'm just going to darken up some of this blue since I have a little more time. Not much more time, but definitely want to darken it up a bit. Otis got up. Hey, good morning, Otis. Took a little stroll onto the harder part of the floor. Bed not good enough for you, dog? Darken it up right here just a little bit. Make her stand out a little bit more that way. All right. I'm just going to darken up in her eye, top of her eyes just a little bit, not much. And last but not least, I'm just going to add a tiny bit of texture in the minute we have, just to help her hair darken the sides up a little. Make it a little more orange, a little darker, and dried quite light. And there we go. We have a happy leaping squirrel girl. Dun 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 dun. So remember, guys, when you're done your drawing, you get to sign it. That's my signature. Pew. And we finished. Another lesson, yay! Another fun character. Thank you for the fun request this week, guys. You have 1 week to start thinking up new ideas and other requests you would like for the next session. Yes, a week's time we get to draw together again. And if you feel like more art today, I am drawing with Peach at 5 p.m. Pacific on Instagram. So that's where we just chit chat and randomly draw. But yes, thank you so much, guys. Stay healthy, stay safe, wash your hands, all good stuff. Bye-bye.